So, you probably already know Nancy Guthrie. She's 84 years old, and she's Savannah Guthrie's mom. She disappeared from her home in Tucson. But the details are where this gets really scary and strange. Police found blood that matches her DNA on the porch. Her security camera was torn off the door frame. Then the FBI released footage of a masked person with a gun standing at her front door. And that's just the start of everything that's happened since then. At one point, they questioned a guy, but then let him go. There are ransom demands going around. They found a pair of black gloves that might belong to the kidnapper. And just recently, police are asking neighbors for doorbell camera footage going back to January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight. So what's that all about? Good to see you here. I'm Chris. Let's go over it again. On February 10th, the FBI released surveillance footage of someone walking up to Nancy Guthrie's house. This is not someone who looks lost. The way he walks up is calm and straight. Body language experts say he moves with confidence, like he knows exactly where he's going, even though he keeps his head down to avoid being recognized. He's wearing a ski mask, but you can still see what looks like facial hair underneath. He's also carrying a full backpack. So what did he bring with him? Supplies to carry something out? Tools? Or something else? Because whatever is in there, it shows this was not a random last-minute thing. Now here's where things get really specific. According to CNN analysis, the backpack looks like an Ozark Trail Hiker pack, which is Walmart's own outdoor brand. So it's not some special rare gear, just something anyone can buy off the shelf. There also seems to be a gun holstered at his waist, but not in a normal spot. It's clipped low near the groin area. Experts say that's not how people who know guns usually carry them. It's awkward and risky. The holster doesn't even look fitted right to the gun, which makes people wonder how experienced this person really is. He's also holding a small flashlight in his mouth as he gets close to the house. When he reaches the Nest doorbell camera, he tries to cover the lens with his gloved fist. Former FBI agents who looked at the footage think the gloves look like black nitro gloves, the kind you can buy at any Walmart or hardware store. They look thick, maybe even like he's wearing two pairs. So he's thinking about not leaving DNA or fingerprints, but maybe not thinking about everything else, because look what he does next. To block the camera, he doesn't use tape or spray paint. Instead, he grabs a bunch of flowers from the entryway, just picks them up, and tries to hold them in front of his face to hide. Eventually, he rips the Nest camera right off the door frame. Sure, it works, but it's not super smart. If he planned this carefully, he would bring something small and quick like spray paint or tape to cover the lens. Instead, he uses flowers from the yard. That's why several experts who studied the footage think this person may not be a pro-criminal. The confidence is there, and some planning is there, but the way he does it feels thrown together, maybe like someone doing this for the first time. Now here's the part that almost didn't happen. Investigators almost never got this footage. Nancy didn't have a Nest subscription, so the video wasn't automatically saved to the cloud. It wasn't just sitting there ready to grab. It took time and a lot of technical help from Google, who owns Nest, to pull the footage from their back-end servers. When you look at the bigger picture, the location matters too. FBI agents told several news outlets they were surprised by how dark it is around Nancy's home in the Catalina foothills. It's a quiet, rich neighborhood just north of Tucson. It's been the Guthrie family home since 1975. Houses are far apart on big lots, and there are almost no streetlights because local rules keep light pollution low, which is nice for seeing stars, but not nice when someone in a ski mask walks up to your door at night. As for Nancy's last known movements, she was last seen on Saturday, January 31st. That evening, she took an Uber to her daughter Annie's house. Annie and her husband Tommaso Sion had her over for dinner and a game of mahjong. The two houses are only about 10 minutes apart. According to the sheriff, Tommaso drove Nancy home later that night. He says he made sure she got inside safely before he left around 9:45 p.m. Investigators confirmed the garage door closed at 9:50. Then we get to the overnight timeline. At 1:47 a.m. on Sunday, February 1st, Nancy's doorbell camera disconnects. Less than 30 minutes later, another security camera on the property catches movement. Shortly after that, her pacemaker stops sending data to her Apple Watch and phone, and the medical device signal drops. Later that morning, Nancy was supposed to watch a live-streamed Sunday church service with a group of friends, something they did regularly since COVID. When she didn't show up around 11 a.m., the friend called her daughter, Annie, who wanted to check on her. That's when they found signs of forced entry and her doorbell camera ripped off. Just after noon, they called 911. Now investigators think this may not have started that night. Police are asking neighbors for doorbell camera footage from 2 exact time windows, January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st between 9:30 and 11 a.m., according to a local news outlet, which suggests someone may have been around the house way before February 1st. Neighbors also told local news that investigators have been asking detailed questions. One's about vehicles, especially trucks. When you look at the neighborhood layout, it's easy to understand why. The Catalina foothills have winding back roads, long driveways, and homes set far back from the street. There aren't many traffic cameras. So if someone put an 84-year-old woman into a vehicle and drove off, it's possible they did it without being caught on any public camera. And then there's this detail. Nancy's house was first given back to the family on Tuesday, February 3rd. The very next day, police took control of the property again. According to News Nation, some experts say that short gap, even though it was brief, could have messed up evidence, which is bad in a case where timing is already so important. Now, this is where things get another twist. On February 3rd, TMZ and at least 2 local Tucson news outlets started getting ransom notes. They included details about what Nancy was wearing the night she disappeared and other info only someone who knew the house would know. TMZ reported the demand was for $6 million in Bitcoin, though that amount hasn't been officially confirmed. The note had a Bitcoin wallet address for payment, and if the money wasn't sent, it threatened her life, but strangely the sender gave 2 deadlines. The first was 5 p.m. on February 5th. The second final deadline was Monday, February 9th. At that point, Savannah and her older siblings, her brother Cameron and her sister Annie, started speaking out publicly not to bargain or guess, but to talk about Nancy, who she is, what she loves, and the kind of person she's always been. They wanted to show her as a real person, not just for the public, but for whoever might be watching. Here's what they said. On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal Fierk, Ely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny and spunky and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human. Just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you. Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart, is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive, and she needs it not to suffer. They're making it very clear they'd do anything to get their mom back. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we're doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you're hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy. Everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom. We love you, Mom. We love you, Mom. Stay strong. We love you. We love you. And then another note came on February 6th. This one wasn't exactly a ransom demand, but it reportedly had details that showed it was from the same person. So, whoever is behind this wasn't finished sending messages. The next day, Saturday, February 7th, the family released another public statement, and this one felt more straight to the point. It was clearly aimed at the person holding Nancy. The message was simple. We will pay. We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. Meanwhile, investigators are pulling on every possible lead. They seized a blue Subaru that was parked inside Nancy's garage. They also took a security camera from her roof after a neighbor told them about it. And then on February 7th, they went to Annie and Tommaso's house for the second time. They were there on February 4th, too. NBC News says the couple have cooperated and let police come in and look around. Officers were seen walking in with one of those silver forensic briefcases, a crime scene kit. That's the equipment used to pull data off phones and devices like text, photos, location, history, everything. So, of course, people start asking why search the daughter's house? The answer is pretty simple. In cases like this, investigators always start with the people closest to the victim. Statistically, most abductions involve someone the victim knows, often someone close. And Annie and Tommaso were the last ones to see Nancy that night. So naturally, you're probably wondering who exactly is this couple? Well, Tommaso Cyan is a 6th grade science and biology teacher. He's originally from Italy. Annie is a published poet and jewelry maker. They've been married since 2006, and they have one child together. She's the only one of the Guthrie kids who still lives in Tucson. Their brother Cameron, the oldest, is a former F-16 pilot who served in the military for more than 20 years. He lives in Vermont. Hosts the Today Show in New York, where she lives with her husband and 2 kids. The 3 siblings don't live near each other, but by all accounts, they're very close. Their father died in 1988, so for decades it's been Nancy and her 3 kids, a tight family in that same Tucson house they grew up in. And that's part of what makes this case feel so strange. Kidnappings of elderly people are rare. Senior citizens are about 10 times less likely to be victims of violent crime. And when older adults are targeted, it's usually for financial scams, not violent kidnappings. Which is why the ransom notes raise as many questions as they answer. Some experts aren't even sure they're real. There's real worry that the messages are a hoax, just some jerk making things worse for this family. If this was a real kidnapping for ransom, it would be over by now. A veteran FBI special agent told News Nation Communication starts within hours, not days. Proof of life is established quickly and repeatedly. Leverage is created immediately. In other words, they would have been in and out of that house, treating Nancy carefully, making sure to keep her alive, including taking her medicine with them. But none of that is happening here, and that's what's making investigators worried. They're not even sure what this case really is. The February 9th deadline came and went, and nothing. No new messages, no proof of life, no sign of Nancy. After that, the family's tone changed. Instead of talking directly to whoever took her, Savannah asked the public for help. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, try to find her. She was taken, and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at. All that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement, we are at an hour of desperation. And that's where things stood. A family asking for help, and very little to go on until February 10th. That's when we finally got something solid. The FBI released the surveillance photos and video of the masked man at Nancy's door. And that same day, there was the first activity tied to the ransom demand. The Tucson ABC affiliate, one of the outlets that got a ransom note, reported that $300 had been deposited into the verified Bitcoin account around 5 p.m., $300, not $6 million. So maybe an attempt to trace the money. Not long after that, investigators brought in armed SWAT vehicles, search and rescue units, and they ended up back in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. Federal agents then went door to door in Annie's neighborhood. They asked neighbors to pull any doorbell footage from the night of January 31st. They asked for permission to search outbuildings, sheds, garages. Basically, if there was a structure on the property, they wanted to look inside. And that same day, police pulled over a delivery driver from Rio Rico, a border town in southern Arizona, about an hour from Tucson. He was put in handcuffs during a traffic stop and detained for questioning. Investigators also searched the home where he lives with his family, and then he was released. No charges. Afterward, he spoke to Fox News on camera about what happened. Okay, what were they asking you about? That were my whereabouts. Okay, where do I work? Was I in all that? What are you ever up in Tucson? Yeah, I work in Tucson. What do you do? GLS. Deliver packages. Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house? I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know. Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything? Savannah is the youngest of the three. She graduated from the University of Arizona, later got a law degree from Georgetown, and now, well, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So, do you think you may have, did they indicate that you might have been on her property? No. You're not sure? No, they just came up. They did. Until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and that they supposedly look like my eyes, right? Okay, that's it. That's all I know. The delivery driver later went on Fox News and basically said he doesn't even know who Savannah Guthrie is. He doesn't follow the news. And then it got weirder. On Wednesday, February 11th, TMZ got another note. This person claimed they'd been trying to reach Cameron and Annie and couldn't get through. And then they added this. If the family wants the name of the person involved, send 1 Bitcoin to this wallet. 1 Bitcoin is about $67,000. And TMZ says this wallet address is completely different from the one in the original ransom note. The latest note also includes this scary phrase, time is more than relevant. So, is this someone with real information or just someone following the headlines and trying to make a quick 67K? Whoever they're annoyed. On February 12th, they sent TMZ another note. This one complaining they're not being taken seriously. This time the writer says they needed roughly $65,000 in Bitcoin, so they can lie low claiming they're worried about retaliation. They even mentioned the delivery driver who was detained and released, saying they don't want to be incriminated like that Carlos guy, which is a very specific thing to mention. So once again, we're left wondering, is this someone who actually knows something or someone watching this case and trying to get involved? And while all of that back and forth, with the notes is going on, investigators are still out there searching. And this might be the most solid thing they've found so far. During a grid search, police recovered a black glove similar to the ones worn by the masked intruder in the surveillance footage. It was found tossed along the side of the road, less than 2 miles from Nancy's house. That glove has usable DNA. That's not just interesting, that's huge. At the same time, investigators are asking for more security footage in the Catalina foothills. According to local news, neighbors are being asked to check cameras for 2 very specific windows, January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st between 9:30 and 11 a.m. This might connect to a suspicious vehicle allegedly spotted on a nearby traffic camera around 10 a.m. on January 31st. Although so far investigators haven't said much more about that publicly. All we know is the focus isn't just on that night. It's on whether someone was hanging around that house long before it happened. Right now, Nancy is still missing. If you saw something in that area that didn't seem important at the time, it might be now. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-225-5324. Even the smallest detail could matter.